Alright, so the next type of factorization is called the grouping. Okay, so if you look at this expression, right, algebra expression, we have four terms. Okay, so let's try using our taking out common factors to see whether we can factorize all the four terms together. Okay, so taking out common factors require all of them to have the same thing, right? Okay, so let's see whether they have the same a. Okay, so for the first, there's a, right? So this is okay. Second, there's a also. But you look at the third and the fourth term, there's no a. So I put a cross here. Okay, so let's see whether they have b. So first term, yes. Second term, no. Third term, yes. Fourth term, no. Then let's take a look whether there's c. So first term, no. Second term, yes. Third term, no. Fourth term, yes. Last but not least, d. So first term, no. Second term, no. Third term, yes. Last term, yes. So you can see they do not, all the four things do not have the same thing in common. Okay, so what should we do? Okay, so we should do our group factorization by grouping. So what is grouping? So grouping and require us to group two things in one group. So example, let's group our first and second thing as one. Then the second group, let's group the third and the fourth person as one group. Okay, so I will group the first and second, just the first and second. So if you look at the first and second group, right, I mean the first and second term, the common thing is your a, right? So let's take out the a. Then after that, I put a bracket, b plus c. Then after that, I must close the bracket. Because I only want to factorize out the first two person. Okay, let's factorize out the last two person, which is the third person and the fourth person, right? Okay, so the third and the fourth person, the common thing is your d. So plus d, right? Because I take out plus d. So don't just put d, because this is wrong. Okay, so you must put either plus or minus. Alright, so plus d. Then after that, put a bracket. So what is left for the third person is b. What is left for the last person is your c. Okay, so I've done my first factorization, which is taking out of common factor. Okay, but we are not yet done. Okay, so now if you look at the first team, right? Okay, this is your first team for your first group lah. And the second team. Okay, so now if you look at the first team and the second team, what is the common thing between the first and the second team? Actually is the bracket, the b plus c, right? And b plus c here. So I must do my factorization one more time. So you can see there's two factorization. I must do two factorization, right, for this grouping. So let's take out the bracket. So I take out the bracket, become b plus c bracket. Then after that, I put another bracket. So what is left for the first team is actually your a. Then what is left for the second team is actually your plus d. Alright, close the bracket. So in this case, I have done my factorization by grouping. So you can see for grouping, it's still the same thing. We are still taking out common factor, just that we approach the question a bit more differently. Right? Okay, let's try. Let me just start the ball rolling by starting exercise 3, question 1. Okay, so question 1, you can see we got xa plus 2xz plus 4a plus 8z. Okay, so let's group the first two together. Okay, so this is the first, this is the second. Then after that, third term and the fourth term. So for the first two term, the common thing is your x, right? So I take out x. Okay, so if I take out x, what is left for the first term is your a. What is left for your second term is your 2z. Bracket. Okay, so now I look at the third and the fourth term. Just looking at the third and the fourth term, don't look at the first and the second already because I already factorized already. So if you look at the third and the fourth term, I should, there's no alphabet for me to factorize, but there is something else, right? The number. So I should factorize out the number. So plus 4, then bracket a plus 2z, bracket. So now I did my first factorization. Now I look at the first team and the second team. So this is the first team. Then after that, this is the second team. So the similarity or the common thing between the first and the second team is actually the bracket a plus 2z, bracket. So I take out the entire bracket out. So I take out the bracket, become a plus 2z, bracket. Okay, then after that, put another bracket. So what is left for the first team is actually just your x. Then what is left for your second team is just your plus 4. So in this case, I have did my factorization by grouping. Okay, so another thing to take note about grouping is actually you must ensure one thing is that the bracket, when you do your first factorization, the bracket must be the same. Means that the bracket inside your first team and the second team must be similar, because eventually I'm going to take out the bracket. I'm going to factorize out the bracket. Okay, because sometimes you might encounter problems where the bracket in your first team and the second team is different. So this one I will help you as we progress along. All right. Okay. So yeah, you can try question 2 to 6.